he looked at me and he's like, you did that cover of me. And I was like, yes, I did. And I was like, I can retire now. I've been acknowledged by Imran Khan World.
We've seen a bunch of artists collaborate across the border and they've been
Bano.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Everyone's so much more used to like working online anyway now. Like even within Pakistan, there's so many people who I've just never met, but I've made so much music with them.
Like who?
And that's great. Like Umair, I only recently met. Like,
Oh, dude.
He doesn't live here.
He lives in Karachi, guys.
What?
Yes.
For the
61.
Abdullah Siddiqui
Oh my
one,
God.
and he got up on stage, and I remember I was sitting right in front, and I remember him, poor guy, was shaking, but his entire family was in the row, right in the same row as me, like his grandparents and everyone. And I remember him being so nervous, but then the minute he opened his mouth, everyone was like, it was dead silence because he was brilliant. He blew us away.
Yeah, and also I feel like Pakistani culture at large is being like absolute haters. I think like having enough like people be negative towards you is now, I guess, a benchmark of success in a really, you know, warped way.
Do you read all your comments?
Yes. And I have to like kind of stop myself from doing so. And like, can I tell you, it also depends on what platform you're on. Like Facebook, vicious.
Oh,
Facebook,
I'm not even on.
Yeah,
can't,
I would highly recommend, especially all the girlies, do not log into Facebook.
Okay, so normally we do a introduction to lure people in. Today we've decided.
We're too excited today.
Today we're too excited because the the best person we've ever known, friend of 89, legend of Dawn. Please welcome to the podcast, Natasha Nurani.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here. It feels like a reunion.
It literally feels like a reunion.
Yeah. How you doing? You look
I'm
great.
doing good. Thank you. Jo kehta hai, wahi hota hai.
On ye to hai. I'm so pumped you're here. We always try to get you in when you're on time. And I gotta say, like, since I started my radio show, if you guys don't know, I have one. Elhaam is my producer. Natasha has been like friend of the show. Always down. We've had multiple live combos. We've premiered a lot of your songs.
Yes.
I've been lucky enough to do that. And so when
We're
she was in town, had a fantastic show on Saturday
Thank
night.
you.
And I was like, hey, in the midst of everything, show up at Dawn. And I was like, and it's me and Elhaam, and we have multiple things we need
Poor
to
thing, every time she comes to town, she gets like a message or a call from me being like, listen, do you have like 10 minutes even? And she's just like, I really don't. But I'm like, but 10 minutes. Just
But
come.
we made it, guys. We did it. We're here. Round of applause for everyone.
Proud of us.
I'm really happy to see you more because like we've trauma bonded.
Yes, 100%.
We've been through the trenches and now we're going to trauma bond some more.
I love it.
And
On
unpack everything right here.
I will traumatize you both together. Wait, so explain a bit. How do you two know each other?
I used to work at 89. That was one of my first jobs. City
I
FM.
conned her
89.
into working for me.
It was the best. I was literally unemployed for all of 1 month and I was almost moving back to Lahore, and then I just got in touch with Elhaam, and then I was working at 89 for a year and it was great. It was just like started off, I was like, they just let me do whatever I want.
I
and it
walked
worked.
in and I was like, listen, aim low. But at the end of the day, if it happens, you will get to do whatever you want.
And she was right.
And
I
we
really
did some cool stuff. We did some really, like, I think the most fun we had was when we did those city sessions.
Oh my god. Even though I'm still by my own, like, you know,
We'll get there.
yeah,
Baby
I was,
steps.
I was credited as water boy because I thought that would be hilarious, but like no, with like so many people there, it was just the best thing to shoot. It was so good.
And just the fact that we did it without our bosses even knowing.
Yeah, we would just show them the final product.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, okay, can we upload this? And they'd be like, what's happening? Okay, thank you, and then just move right on.
Yeah. But it was
So little has changed.
this podcast.
Not even kidding. I just shot another episode, which you guys will see from last week, in which one of the people was also like legendary Dawn, like
I love it.
generational Dawn. And I was like, anytime, and I really mean it, I meet like a bad butt woman.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the world, like anywhere in Karachi, anywhere in Lahore, they'll be like, oh yeah, I used to work at Dawn. And I'm like, oh my God, we are like a cult fraternity.
Sisters
Literally.
for life.
So, truly.
It's true. We have a group. Can't name the
Yeah,
group.
we can't name the group.
But we have a group, and it's like for life.
Yeah.
It's been
One of us will just randomly message like deepest trauma and be like, yes, understood, acknowledged, aligned. All of it worked out. Yes.
one of the things I also love about the group is that whenever any one of us, and me the least, has some kind of moment of like we've made it in life or we've done something,
Me the least,
some
come
achievement,
on.
tiny achievement in life or whatever, the others act like it is like the
biggest
biggest thing ever.
Yeah.
And it's so simple. There are 3 people on that group,
Yes.
but it's so simple, but it works.
Who's the
works.
third?
Isa.
Oh,
Shout out to Isa, who used to
Dawn.
also one of the voices that's still airing on 89.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way we
Dawn.
can ever lose
No.
Isa's voice
No.
from that.
I've heard this before. Excuse me, I just went through a change. Some people will be like, "Oh, your work friends aren't your real friends." I'm like, "Nah, you don't get it.
Yeah, yeah.
If you make an honest work friend that you get, you are literally
Bonded
Yeah.
for
for
life.
life. You
Yeah.
will kill for this
Yes.
person because you get it. And actually, my old job, we have a group, and I'm happy to say the name, and it's called Survivors.
I love it.
As soon as somebody resigns or quits, we're all, oh my god, like it's like a full applause ripples through the place. So yeah.
You have it's deep support, and it's also
It
the best
is.
place to get like queries in. It's like, hey, looking for a makeup artist in middle of Toronto in 24 hours. How do I sort this out? And just gets resolved somehow.
Yeah.
There you
Women
go.
who get stuff done.
Speaking of women who get stuff done,
I mean, I know one.
yeah,
She's on this podcast.
got
with
a
us.
lot done actually.
So much.
Yeah.
Like just before this, we were chatting upstairs at 89, and we were
We'll
talking
link it
about
below.
the entire like span of her career,
Mashallah.
and there wasn't enough time.
You guys are so.
And we didn't even touch upon some of the most some of my favorites, which are considered very underrated in the mainstream. But honestly,
You cool hipster. You cool guy. That's an OG fan though, for real,
It's
for real.
true.
She
I
is.
am an OG
Yeah,
fan.
she really is.
I remember the videos that she made as a 13-year-old, 14-year-old,
yeah.
where she covered all these like angsty songs, but did it in her own way, where it was like slow-mo covers of like pop hits.
Pussycat Dolls. Buttons has like the saddest version.
Honestly,
epic
I get,
version.
Finally,
Yeah.
someone gets it. I hear buttons.
Yeah.
I'm immediately
It's the
down,
tears,
down in the dumps.
Tears.
Actually, one of your acoustic versions of like a classic that really popped off that I have personally played on my
Yeah.
show quite a lot is during the pandemic. You did a session where you covered what should be our national anthem, quite
Agreed.
frankly. Imran Khan, the other ones.
Yep.
Amplifier.
And he is an icon, and it was really great because I think that like I think one of my biggest achievements in life is that he retweeted it, and then when I met him
Oh.
by chance a year after that, he looked at me and he's like, "You did that cover of me," and I was like, "Yes, I did." And I was like, "I can retire now. I've been acknowledged by Imran Khan World."
That's amazing. I didn't know that. That's amazing.
It's I've just been coasting ever since.
That's-
Life has been.
You guys should have
just,
collabed.
inshallah.
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 I got to see him live. He came to my
Yeah?
school.
Your
and
school? Where was your school?
I went to University of Maryland in
Yeah.
Baltimore. Don't check my grades. And there's a reason I'm here. I had to flee the country. So anyway, he came and it was one of the best. There is not a Desi, I'm sorry, on this planet who will know that Imran Khan is near and not free Khan. And I love it. If anyone clips this, it'll be about the other Imran Khan. But whatever, apply it either way. Honestly, icons in their own way.
Icons,
Yeah.
icons.
Speaking of collabs,
Yes.
the ones that you've done so far have been really cool. But are there any more that are in the pipeline coming up? Do we?
Yeah, there are.
Because
a
you're
bunch.
collab queen, dude.
Yes, it's nice that people will send me like random things and be like, "We think you'd be great on this," and I'm like, "Really? You think I
Do
can
people do that?
this?"
Because I have a list.
Yeah, of people
That
who
I
should
can-
do it with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the only problem with like revealing collabs before they come out is
I know.
that NDAs, and it's just like, ugh.
Oh my God,
But yeah,
NDAs.
NDA is so fancy. It's like, you want me to sign something?
Oh my God,
you
don't
think I'm
sue
special?
me.
No, but like it's there's a lot of like Indian new wave artists who I really adore. A lot of those people I'm working with, hopefully.
Can I just say I'm actually really loving the collab between
Yeah,
because
so
there have
good.
been so many in the last couple of months. Actually,
yeah,
not
yeah.
not even a year. In the last couple of months,
Yeah.
we've seen a bunch of artists collaborate across the border, and they've
Hassan,
been
Manu.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant
Sorry,
stuff.
Shafi just did one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just been like much easier. I think everyone's more like open about it. It's more accessible. Everyone's so much more used to like working online anyway now. Like even within Pakistan, there are so many people who I've just never met, but I made so much music with them.
Like who?
And that's great. Like Umair, I only recently met. Like,
Oh, dude.
He doesn't live here.
He lives in Karachi, guys.
What?
Yes.
Omer,
He is-
Hassan, and you have Faltu Pyar. Hassan Rahim. I'm saying Hassan like we're
No,
BFFs.
Hassan
No.
and
No?
Talal
No.
and me have Faltu Pyar.
Oh, okay.
Me and Umair and Hassan have Lover Boy Romance.
Yeah.
Sorry, so that's
Yes,
the one
yes.
I play almost every week, and I'm not gonna my people. album.
I love the way
I
it
love-
starts.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
my favorite.
That
Yeah.
was, that's me.
Yeah, of course.
That's
That
one
was
of
me.
my, you met
Yeah.
when you made that. That's one of my favorite songs off
Yeah.
that album. That's one of the best albums that have come out.
It's
from
insane.
Pakistan
It's
in a
just
long
like
time.
also
Yeah.
that's like collab fest, honestly. Like
Yeah.
that boy knows exactly what he's doing. Umair is also like he's what, 20? It's like ridiculous that
I was
this
gonna
is-
say that's probably why we've never seen
Yeah.
him because
Yeah.
we're like, you know,
Absolutely.
we're with our
We're like
We're not
20
20.
somethings.
yeah,
we're not. We used to be 20. We're not that anymore.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
I say experienced. We're experienced now.
Yeah.
Enough that we can look at the 20-year-olds and be like, let
No,
me
I
guide
imagine
you.
even if it is like a badass like Omer would be like, where are your parents? Get out of here. You know what I mean? Like move tables. I don't sit
Yeah.
next to a youth.
I love
Literally
it.
me. There was a birthday party at a restaurant here
Yeah.
the other day and I was like, you need to sit me somewhere else. I was like, their joy is infectious
Yeah.
and I am not vaccinated. Please move me.
But you know, something that the 20-year-olds have gotten right and have also, I think, pushed
Yeah.
all of us into that kind of, into the unknown, essentially, is digital.
Yeah.
They've gotten, like, they've actually pushed you guys to do more
100%.
and step up,
100%.
right?
I also just think that like generation is so much braver than we were. I think we grew up with so many like insecurities
Log
and
kya
fears
kahenge.
and log kya kahenge, and they're just like lo, and I'm just like, how are we allowed
No, actually,
to?
when you did say that, like,
Yeah.
people reach out to your collab and you're like,
Yeah.
really, me? I was
Yeah.
going to pick up this chair and throw it. Like, yeah, you, dog.
Yeah, but like we all have imposter syndrome, and
Yeah.
it's the worst. And also like then one person says something mean about me and like 100 comments of niceness, and I'm like, bus, it's
You know,
done.
that
I'm
happened
over.
to me. And I posted it, right? And I'm like, look
Once?
at what this. Yeah, that's all true. It happens a lot. But somebody, I shared that, and I was like, look at what this person said. Da, da, da.
Yeah.
Then people who like me reacted to that, being like, you never react to our nice comments.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
just hunting
yeah.
for the negativity. And I'm like, but that's what sticks out.
Absolutely.
You don't believe
Yeah.
niceness.
Sabah, do you know that she has a fan club
Yeah.
with a name?
What's the name?
Nashtas.
Oh my God, cute.
I know, right? That's
very
also when you know you've made it. You
Yeah.
are a pop, not just pop. You are a music icon.
Yeah.
I will take it. I'm gonna accept all of this praise and all of this validation.
This is a good segue into the fact, like, even speaking about collaborations and stuff. And honestly, so we started together on the radio 2018. And even since then, like the explosion of this music industry and a lot of it, I'm sorry, I'm gonna throw credit where it needs to be thrown, but Lahore Music Meet was something that was a launch pad for people today that are like household names.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about what is Lahore Music Meet and what does that have to do with Natasha Noorani?
Well, when I was just out of college, or actually just in my last semester, we ended up starting a festival, and that was called Lahore Music Meet, and it was just meant to be like a really nice community of like people who we just pretended that the music industry really liked each other for 2 days a year, and it was this nice make-believe version of like, you know, what should have been happening. And also there was lots of monopolies over music at that point, especially, and like it was just TV and YouTube was just, you know, coming out of its like, you know,
Ban.
Yes, it was just like not like it was bad. And so I think it was the only space where like for at least 5 years we were able to just pretend that everything was okay, and also give like lots of respect and credit to artists that, you know, deserved it. And a lot of artists like Manu, Abdullah Siddiqui applied when he was 16.
I was there.
Yeah.
For the
61?
Abdullah Siddiqui
Oh my
one,
God.
and he got up on stage, and I remember I was sitting right in front, and I remember him, poor guy, was shaking, but his entire family was in the row, right in the same row as me, like his grandparents and everyone.
Yeah.
And I remember him being so nervous, but then the minute he opened his mouth, everyone was like, it was dead silence, because he was brilliant. He blew us away. I've been
100%.
obsessed with him ever since.
Yeah.
And the amount of people I've also told about, like after that performance,
Yeah.
I was like, you guys need to check him out. Like he is a prodigy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Essentially.
He really is still like
I also
the
creeped him
amount
out.
yeah, I'm sure.
You creeped me out just
Easy
talking.
to do.
No, dude, I totally, like right after that performance, I was like, listen, we need to be friends. I need to have you on the radio. This needs to happen. And he was just like, okay. And he's like slowly backing up.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, when I finally, because obviously we all know each other through social media or whatever,
Yeah.
but when I finally met him in person, I was like, let's just get this up front.
Yeah.
I am panicking. I cannot believe it's you.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
such a huge fan. And probably one of the like most generous,
100%.
nice people who's so like
So
it's
down
okay,
to earth.
auntie. Like, I know it's exciting to meet you and that's cool.
Yeah.
But you guys are frequent collaborators.
Yes,
Imagine, and he was
100%.
just a 16-year-old boy.
And it's just like, it's insane because like I think in that space of just letting him do him at the age of 16 and giving him like a tiny stage, it wasn't even that big or fancy. Honestly, it was just a platform where we're like, please, there's a mic, enjoy yourself. And it was just that the artist would come and be like incredible. And like just to see like Abdullah, Manu, all of these people just thriving now.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, they deserve it.
Literally,
and all that and more.
every single person she has named, she introduced me to.
Yeah.
And they came to us through her. So you got to give her like full credit
Yeah,
for
I know,
being the force behind pushing the industry into what it is right now. Like I would.
Honestly, I agree because, like I was saying, like when all these songs start coming out, Manu's music starts coming out, Hassan Rahim. Again, I always give credit for this on the radio for you as well. A lot of this, if not majority of it, coming out of your own pockets. You are not, backed by some major label or anything. The one thing I always mention on the radio is I'm like, the fact that you all keep working together, you pull each other into your projects, you pull your producers in, you're a frequent collaborator with Dalal Qureshi, Abdullah Siddiqui, like we mentioned. I feel like for music people like us who work in the other thing, it just feels like our hearts are, it's so corny, I'm an auntie, but like my heart like bursts. Like when those albums drop, when those songs drop, I'm like, dude, they're building each other up. And like you did say, like, some people in the music industry obviously they're gonna scratch each other's eyes out, but like we don't see it at all from the people. I think the nice thing is like
as whatever you want to call us, a new wave or new generation, I think we really learn from the kind of angst of the rock uncles and their kind of hatred for each other, because even now like things are designed to make you feel like it's just there's just space for one person or especially one woman or one kind of like female artist and all of those things. And I think we've really grown out of that. In the studio, that's not anything that comes up. We're not thinking like that. And in a way, the blessing of having no corporate backing or no money or no label or anything like that is that you're not thinking along these lines. You're not like pre-packaging something before. You're not pre-deciding a song in the studio. You're just, kind of like going in, making a song, seeing where that goes, seeing how your friends react to it, seeing how other musicians react to it, and then work on it a bit and then release.
Essentially, it also gives you room to... someone once on this podcast, I think, said that as Pakistanis, we get to be... Because we have not that many resources on hand, we get to be the most creative parts of most creative parts of ourselves come out. And so I guess essentially not having that conversation of whether it's good to have that machine that does everything for you, as opposed to when you're doing it all on your own, you can actually be the most creative that you want to be.
And I think it's very interesting because a lot of like my Indian friends will be like, wow, you guys are doing, it's so different, the music from Pakistan. I was like, we have no control over that because we have like literally no industry, no like kind of like schools, no mechanism. So whatever everyone brings is literally their whole self into a studio or into a song. And that's why it's so genuinely unique, because there is no benchmark, there's nothing.
I was gonna say it's a lot of genre melding, redefining. Like when we first got introduced to Natasha's music, I was like, oh, okay, we got R&B. And I was pumped because R&B is a big part of the music I play. And I was like, I keep playing these dudes. Trust me, if they know anything about me, I'm like, enough of them. So I love, and I really feel like you pushed into it, and it's not easy because R&B is seen as more kind of like sensual, wink, wink, nudge, nudge type music.
Yeah, absolutely.
But look at the last like 2 years, the amount of Pakistani women who have come into it, and I feel like you guys have created something out of it. You've done R&B in Urdu, you've done R&B in Punjabi.
Punjabi, by the way, I loved when you would segue into different languages, which is very cool. Like, because you're blending in one song, you're getting 3 languages, which is brilliant.
Absolutely. And I think it's just like also how we are as people. That's just how we converse. That's just, what our day to day is. And I think that's really like super.
Damn, that's a valid as hell point. You're right.
Yeah, that's just, it's just legit. Yeah. Like, when have we ever said like a full sentence in, a single language? It's just what it is. And I think it's just been nicer to see real life kind of emulated in music, as opposed to music attempting to emulate a version or iteration of something that we would think is cool or would be deemed, socially acceptable or whatever it is. And it takes a lot of unlearning, right, about what is correct and what isn't. But I think like I'm just super grateful that I have like enough people around me, both in terms of people in the studio, like friends, family, whatever, that are really keeping me grounded and keep it really real with the amount of feedback. Like I love that fans will come up to me and be really detailed, with their feedback, and I love that, guys. But I take that home. I really think about it, and it's just really nice that people are that invested. That's how I look at it. So even if somebody doesn't like something that I've done, I'm just like, but they're still talking about it in a respectful manner. I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll cry for like 2 hours, but then after that I'll register that they really care.
It's a
can't
process.
relate. You tell me you don't like me, and I'm like, I will never perform again.
Yeah, it's just like music is over for me. We're done. No, but it's just really nice that people are that invested.
For every one negative comment, you have 10 positive ones.
100%.
So that's something that will also push you.
Yeah, and also I feel like Pakistani culture at large is being like absolute haters. Like I think that is just our overall thing. And so like
I always say, like, we always feel that if someone is successful, that they have taken that success from us.
Yes.
So like I could have gone to school for law.
Yeah.
But if you're a fantastic surgeon, I'm angry at you because I should have been that surgeon. Like you took this from me. And I'm like, we're not even. Why?
And I think like having enough like people be negative towards you is now, I guess, a benchmark of success in a really, warped way.
It's a weird thing though.
Yeah, it's just something you have to like, in a way, I think the way that I deal with it is that I output, whether that's on social or like Spotify or whatever, I output and then I kind of disappear and recede back into the studio or take some time off or like, live life, because that is where people are nicer. And so...
Do you read all your comments?
Yes. And I have to like kind of stop myself from doing so. And like, can I tell you, it also depends on what platform you're on. Like Facebook, vicious.
Facebook, I'm not even on.
I would highly recommend, especially all the girlies, do not log into Facebook, because a lot of it is linked, right? Like whatever you're putting up here,
it goes up everywhere.
It goes up there, so the audience there does not like you.
But the audience
I can assure you.
On Facebook, it's also like you're going from like a nice little pond to a little river, sweet little river, which is Instagram, and then Facebook is like literally the ocean.
Yeah, it's a tsunami.
And so you have
darkest, ugliest.
And people have normalized being nasty in the comments on anything that you put up on Facebook. You see these, like, we talk about these groups all the time where there's literally women bringing other women down constantly when the entire purpose of that group is for you to prop women up, but you are constantly beating them down.
Yeah,
I was interviewed by BBC Urdu.
Yeah,
I want you both to think about that. It was an Urdu language interview. Okay.
Why do people keep interviewing you in Urdu?
I know they're like, hey, you. Drop some Saraiki on us. And I'm like, just ethnically speaking, please don't do that to me. But it was like a pretty, trigger warning. It was about like sexual assault, harassment, things like that. I just said what I needed to say.
Yeah.
I'm not on Facebook. My mother is, right? No. So she read the comments and she was like, there is a poison in the well, because I think the one that really got to me was like, oh, she just wants Pakistan to look bad.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
that's like a whole genre of comment, which is just like, how dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you?
And people just cannot stand if you're like popular, if you have any sort of platform in any way or form. If you're succeeding in any way, if you are good at what you do, if you are confident about what you do, that one really, I get some real mad.
It hurts.
Real mad.
I think that's what it is. It's the confidence thing. If they see a woman who's confident, who knows what she wants, who's out there doing what she wants, and looks happy, or is happy, they're like, no, you're not allowed to be happy.
Allowed.
Yeah, and also that the fact that not that you have the co-sign because she did come first, but like a lot of the artists that they're like, oh my god, like the male rappers and this and that, they're working with you, right? Like they're coming up to work with you, and I feel like even that makes them bad. Is they're just like, wait a second, we're supposed to hate women together, like you're not getting it. But I will say, I think a lot of your contemporaries, like Bano, Hassan, and stuff like that, like they make music that's about like loving women, and I've never heard them say a derogatory thing about them in their music.
It's true, actually, and I
nice.
feel like I was saying, I feel like the people that I end up working with, both I guess by selection and just by like, I think just by virtue of everyone having like grown up now in a way where they're more mindful of a lot of things, like whether it's studio time, how late we're staying, what's happening, who's in the room, all of those things, because these are things
so
that
nice to hear,
yeah. And so like it's even like if I will be more guarded in my writing, even where I'm just like, can I be saying those things because you're saying those things? Should I be matching that? Should I be running away from that? And so they're really helpful in those processes. So I've like, it is rare and it's taken me a really, really long time because I don't want like, young girlies to be like, oh, we'll go into the studio and it's going to be perfect from day one. Like, no, it's about really...
Please. Yeah,
really,
you have to give them the reality of it too.
Yes, which is just like, just be careful, be mindful. I'm so glad my mother never gave me permission to go to Shady Boy Studios in their basements. She was right. Sorry, Amma. I didn't mean to do this to you. But thanks a lot. But yeah, it really helped me kind of also understand the kind of people I should be working with. What do you value? Do you value like, coolness over actual art? Do you like, kind of, are you looking for just, the famous people to work with, or are you actually looking for collaborators that can help you in a room figure out your sound, or like figure out your writing, or even figure out your music videos and all of those things? Because I'm a deeply collaborative person. Like I have a really intense vision that I like to follow, but I need people to help me get those things.
Reap the rewards, because we've all seen Choro, which is one of the coolest music videos that has ever come out.
I can't because I gushed over it for so long upstairs that right now if I continue, she's going to do what she did upstairs, sink into the
I'm
ground.
already like 2 inches lower than her.
Because the thing about her is that every time you talk about her, or every time, like even when we play her song on the radio, and I will make a video and send it to her, or somebody else will send it, she dies. She's just like, oh, I can't.
I play you like every week.
I love that. Yeah. I'm always stalking your playlists whenever you post them. I'm like, am I there?
I gotta say, it's not just you. It's sometimes when people aren't there, they're like,
I have beef with you the week that you haven't played me. I'm like, no, me and Sabah aren't friends this week. Next week, maybe. She has a chance to like get it back.
But when that music video came out, I think without fail, every time I mentioned it, I was like, because obviously I'm on the radio, you can't see the music that I'm saying. You can feel it, but I'm like, please go and watch this music video.
But it's true, 89, all of the comments on YouTube are like, came here from 89, City FM 89 Zindabad. So just like stalk those and like, thank you. It helped me get the views. Yeah.
My whole day
go
today
89.
Go 89. Boo, Dawn. Yay, Dawn English. I love my boss. I'm gonna be replaced next week.
Yeah, you are.
Listen, मैं तो इधर काम भी नहीं करती हूँ और मेरी चुगरान होनी है भाई.
She's been more concerned about running.
Just like, guys, I don't want to get scolded.
No.
Mom's like, don't bring up the scolding that I did. No, you never.
Never.
Yeah.
No, I was very nice to both of you.
Yeah.
You just have this weird...
She says so politely. I was really nice to both of you.
I was.
One eye just twitching. No, I've never had an
No, she was the best. She fought all my fights for me. I'd come and be like, I have this crazy idea. We're going to do it. You deal with the rest. And she would. And then we'd get away with it.
Yeah.
It was the best.
We did. We got away with a lot.
With a lot.
And you're still getting away with stuff.
100%. That's the plan. That's the dream. No. Like to just be able
I
to
won't
do
lie.
that.
I don't get away with. No, I'm joking. I get away with it.
We also had such big plans. We had plans of like we wanted to start our own little company, our own production company.
100%.
We had all these, but what's cool is that you found people out there. I mean, because we got Daisy and we never did anything, but you went out and found people out there that have like. I mean, we were talking about Umnia. We were talking about like all the other people that you've collaborated with. People
please come on the pod. Thank you.
Please.
I mean, I'll get her eventually. But like we, like all these, the art directors you've worked with, the even styling and whatnot. I mean, yes, it all comes from you. Because
it takes
we know how meticulous you are when it comes to planning, and she's the queen of planning. Like PowerPoint queen.
I was gonna say PPT queen.
PPT queen. Yeah.
So every little aspect, I know it comes from you, but the people that you also kind of, where do you find these people?
Honestly, I just like, I feel
like send me their CVs.
Yeah. I just like, I've always been like following people's journeys. I like seeing like lots of stalking on Instagram, previously on like Facebook and Twitter and all of those things, just seeing like interesting people doing interesting things. And I think like, it's just important to actually just reach out and be like, hey, this is what I want to do. This is like, and transparency and honesty of like, hello, I don't have $1 kajillion to offer you, but this is what it is. If you're game, great. If not, next time. And I think that like, I know that I'm unable to manage all of this by myself, even though I am, you know, gonna want to sit in on the edit and do all the things and like just be watchful over everything, but that's a me problem. But I think like, you know, it's important for, I'm always open to like input about me or my art because I know that I work with people who are equally invested in making that, you know, product just really shine, right? I think that's what I gravitate towards, is like not just obviously talent and skill and all of these things, but you know, someone like Umnia is so deeply invested in, you know, my life and my career and my art, and like genuinely such a fan that having her in my corner is so great, because there's days where I'm not in my corner, right? And I think that that's where finding the right collaborators and making errors also. There's lots of collaborators I work with where it didn't work out, and so that really taught me kind of what I wanted to do. Like now I know.
Them. You name them.
Yeah, no. We will not, because then I will
off
have
camera.
Hey, she could collaborate with them again in the future and might work out.
Yeah, no. But
comment if you think it's you.
No, but I feel like it's more about the, like, it taught me that I want to, you know, learn this aspect of this so I can control that and like be a part of that, or at least explain it to someone.
Right.
You know, whether it's, you know, a mix and master aspect of the music, whether it's like, you know, how are we color grading something, and so I'm genuinely so intrigued by all of these things, and I have no desire to actually learn all of them.
Right.
So collaboration is necessary.
You've hit on a really good thing, because I think a lot of times we give advice to the youth that like, hey, just do it all, put it together, this and that. And honestly, some people bang it out and they get incredible. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but I'm saying even someone, the youth like me, like you get caught up in like, well, I have to learn how to edit and I have to learn to shoot and I have to learn how to write. And it's like sometimes, actually a lot of the times, you benefit from holding hands with people, reaching out with people around you.
I am a big believer in everyone has their skill set. Everyone has, some people have multi-skill set, like the three of us. Some people, everyone has, and it takes a village. Always. And anything you do, it takes a village. So why not reach out and ask people for that help, or work together?
My advice is always, you're already living your worst case scenario where they haven't said yes. Like if you don't ask, they're not going to say yes.
Right.
So if you message them and they don't say yes, nothing changes.
Oh my God, that's so wise.
That's a great
You're
point.
already living in the know.
You're already living in the know if you haven't asked.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Is she
You
a poet?
want to write some
songwriter?
books? Make some TikTok wellness advice?
Honestly, that might be better paying than music, so maybe I should. But yeah,
me laughing like I'm not an
like we're not broke. No, I feel like it is just that, and actually you will be surprised at the kind of warmth and excitement that other people show, and that is also what you need to be continuing to make, you know, audio visual art in any way, right? Like you kind of need, you will be excited about a project that's maybe, you know, like a year old, you'll start losing steam, and then someone will come in and give you a fresh new perspective on it. And that's what makes your art as it does, you know what I mean? It needs to be positioned in not just through your eyes, you know, not just through your
I was going to
gaze
say,
and
I think
lens.
you touched on that it's also like so exciting to see that this many people cared about something and they brought it to life and stuff. I mean, sometimes even on shoots when I see like, I recently did a shoot. Hashim Ali was who you've also worked with. He's amazing, one of the best art directors in honestly the world. He's fantastic. And seeing him work along with the photographer and the stylist and that relationship, I was like, oh, this is real. You know what I mean? Like I had a moment sitting there where I was like, something is happening.
Absolutely. Like when he directed Razi, you know, when I asked him, I was like, Hashim, do you want to direct? He was just like, yeah, sure. And I was ready for, no, I'll just art direct. I'll just do this. But like, you know, even when we worked on Choro, it was so interesting because he was art director on Choro. But, you know, he was helping me with my poses because this was like one of the few times that I had been on like camera properly with this much lighting and this like set and everything, and I didn't know what to do with my hands. I didn't know how to like, you know, be in certain scenes, and he was surprisingly the one making me feel more comfortable. And so when we did Razi, I just knew to keep my ears open and listen because he was telling me exactly what he needed. I was serving exactly what he wanted.
Yeah, right.
And so, like, you know, all of those things were just, it was just easier also over the years because I think a lot of frustration happens like the first few times you collaborate and it isn't perfect, but it's not going to be. And you kind of need to be mentally prepared for that. Like with anybody, you know, whether it's musically or like visually, you just need to be prepared that like the first sitting isn't going to do it. And now I'm confident enough to walk into a studio and be like, hey, I know we're making a song for the first time, but maybe our first 3 songs are duds and they're just part of the process that needs us to, you know, get us to the 4th song, which will be our ultimate banger.
Right.
And I think that's the freedom of making bad music.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Like because I feel like I spent so much of my like 20s and my teens being like, oh, if it's not a perfect product by the time it's done, I can't move on, right? And so you have unfinished songs, you have unfinished business, you don't move on to a next task.
Yeah, and it starts piling up where you're like, and then you start doubting yourself in a way that's like, me literally, therapy, and I'm like, you know, I'm not doing this because I'm incapable. Like clearly if I haven't done it the way I need, the way it was in my head, I'm not capable of bringing it to life. I actually had this moment where I took up ceramics, okay?
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, I know, it's Grammy Award winning ceramics. I'm a cliche in Karachi, trust me.
Yeah.
But I was like, but it was the most amazing experience because I went in with the attitude of like, darling.
Yeah.
Literally, that's what I said. Nadal did not walk on his first tennis court as Nadal, right? Like he built himself up. And I very much like
he
Nadal.
started when he was 4.
But I'm saying like he started.
Let's be real.
Right? Like, and he's a legacy. But okay, let's go with someone else. Serena Williams.
You are giving
Serena
the
Williams.
example.
What I'm trying to say is,
You're giving the examples
Britney Spears.
of legends.
Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
the point I'm trying to make is you weren't perfect on number 1, right?
But you cannot
They worked
compare
hard to get
your one little pottery class
Serena Williams and
to
my pottery.
legends
You
of...
saw the eggplant I made, and it is beautiful. We'll
child
inject a photo
prodigies,
here, Neha,
like-
please. The point I'm trying to make is
Unbelievable.
that you do not become the best at something because you just started on day 1. You become the best, if you guys allow me to finish my sports metaphor, because you showed up every day to the field and you got it done and you kicked the ball. You know what I mean?
Were Nadal and Serena
Wait, no.
Williams
And she
soccer.
says this
Football, sorry,
while
we're
she
done.
goes, she's saying every day to the field. Her pottery class, I kid you not, is probably once a week.
First of all, it was 2 weeks, and it
Oh my
was
God.
3 days each week. And did I go back? No. I got priced out.
Okay, look, I get what
I
you're
agree
saying.
with the
Don't
principle
give
of
up.
this.
That's my
I
point.
understand, and I'm a big believer of
5 minutes later, I'm like, don't give up.
not everything can be perfect. I'm a big it took me a while, but I'm a big believer of that not everything can be perfect, and but experimenting is just so much fun.
It is, and I
Like,
think
and sometimes when it works, it's beautiful.
yeah.
Much like this podcast.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like this.
Yeah.
As 3 people that are a part of Dawn's, the Dawn tribe.
Yeah.
That's been one of the most awesome parts about working here. Is they're like, try it.
Yeah.
Like go for it. And then, but then they'll also be like, well, why haven't you tried it yet? You said you were gonna try it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know. So you don't really have time to be like, let me wallow in failure and make Elhaam pat my head and make me do, like, you just gotta get up and do it.
I think it's also because like we are viewing everything we do in this pass-fail binary, and when you realize that it's just
100%.
like process-based iterations, almost like the first pancake is always gonna be a little wonky, and then it'll just keep getting better until you run out of batter.
Okay,
and
so
you-
that's the metaphor
Yes,
that maybe I
I-
was trying to get
Yes.
to. And yes, I did just say
This is
metaphor.
why she's the expert guest here. And we are just here to
I
fight
can't wait
and
to see
argue.
Nadal in a field, bro. That's
He
what I'm
plays
waiting
soccer.
For. He plays tennis.
And he plays soccer for fun.
Okay, that
He's
I
an
know.
athlete, okay? Sorry, I said
dropping
it.
lore. I don't know how to deal with it.
The 2 things, she's ruining the 2 things that I love, music and sport and tennis. She's ruining
How
them.
dare you?
And you know what? We've gone so many episodes without me walking off this podcast. It might
Today's the
happen.
day.
today.
It might happen.
Please edit all of that out. I want whoever's watching.
No,
to be
no.
like, what are they
This
talking
stays.
about?
They need to know why
need
I'm
to
so.
know. Yeah.
People are gonna be like,
Okay,
post your pottery.
This is going to be
Show
the little
us the
clip that
pottery.
comes out being like, all right, Sabah tries to talk sports
post.
and metaphors.
Okay,
Like,
real talk.
yeah.
I want to talk about the Pakistani music industry.
Oh, wow. We're getting into it.
Yeah.
We're going deep
Yes.
because I don't get enough time to talk. Like I talk to a lot of musicians, randomly here and there, but we don't really dig deep. And now that we've got you here, I genuinely want to know, I want it to be hopeful. I want it to, because I am very filled with hope in the sense that with the amount of music coming out, I get really excited. I know, the level of excitement you feel when you put it out.
Yeah.
I'm on the other end when I'm receiving. And not just as a fan of music, not just as a person who is in the industry in a very tiny way, disseminating it out and making sure that other people... Like, my favorite moment is when I'm randomly somewhere and someone walks up to me and they're like, the other day I was listening to the radio and there was this song playing and oh my God, it was phenomenal. And who is this person? And I'm like, Natasha Noorani or Abdullah Siddiqui or Manu or, and then when I tell them and then I give them like a backstory and then they go and they follow it up. And then 5 years later, they come up to me and they're like, 89 introduced me to this and I'm so glad that I heard it because now I'm like a fan for life and anything that they put out, like I love. And for me, that moment, it's massive.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I've accomplished something.
Yeah.
So what's happening with the industry? Because you guys are single-handedly kind of holding the pillars up. But is anyone else adding to that? Because I know we've had a lot of conversations with the powers that be about figuring out royalties, figuring out, how we can kind of build up the industry. Even corporates we've talked to about how we can build up. And every now and then somebody comes around and they do something and or they will turn the key a little bit and the little robot will start working and then it's kind of
metaphors today.
Yeah, I swear to God. You started it.
I'm so sorry.
But eventually it runs out of steam and but you guys from the back end are keeping it going.
Yeah. I feel like it's very different now than say like
10 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah. Like 2010 we had kind of run out of juice and there was just like, monopolies and corporate music and all of that. And I think COVID was really a massive reset. I feel like COVID just, kind of equalized the playing field in terms of all of kind of your millennial superstars that were like doing all the concerts and all the tours all over Pakistan and being the only people that corporates could think of in rooms to be like, acha, humne iska ad banana hai to isi ko bula sakte hain. I think because they lost steam because they hadn't made music in a while and they were running off of concerts because physical spaces no longer were functioning. They kind of, just weren't doing anything and that opened up spaces for so many musicians and rappers and like producers and everything, like lots of bedroom because everyone was just online then.
Yeah.
Right? You didn't have to be in the cool club. You just had to be like in the right DMs almost in a way. Exactly that.
Honestly, this is the freaking best I've ever heard it explained.
Yeah. But that's what it is, right? Like everyone was just, it was just this big equalizer and you could kind of like, everyone was reaching out to everyone was bored at home, everyone was kind of like,
They had more time to actually sit and with their thoughts and put it all down.
The chase got reset, right? So if we were all chasing like, Lallu Panju concerts that meant nothing to our career otherwise but seemed really big in the short run, I think that it just became about, okay, we have no idea what's happening in the world or in life. Let's make music.
And
let's
your
get to know each other.
audiences were growing and growing because honestly, Pakistanis were online hunting. And like the Explorer page started popping off. TikTok started popping off. So many of the stars that we've seen these days were like on the internet during those days.
That's the thing, right? No one had big production budgets. No, everyone was literally the same. And I think more than anything else, this was 2020 onwards was the first time that I, as like a curator for festivals or as like otherwise just like someone who's seen back end, front end and audience, it was the first time that the audience connected with, musicians like in a really long time. And I think that that reset has just like left so much room for everyone to have grown and you see the fruits of that labor 5 years from like on. And I think that in terms of like answering what the industry looks like, this is the most the industry has industried in a while, right? Because we now all know our rights, we all have access to distribution, we are smarter about things, we're not just like, handing our life rights over to some random dude who looks like he's, got a briefcase full of important things. And so like everyone is kind of really making good deals and people are making money finally. There's an economy to it, right?
I feel like there are other little mini industries also popping up
Yes.
attached to it. You have your management industry, you have your
Yes.
PR industry, you have stylists, you have
dance
art
coming
directors,
up.
you have
Yeah.
dance coming
I
up.
was actually going to say, honestly, such a huge thing I've seen that, I mean,
Yeah.
we have all benefited from, but it's the pop-up of the DJs
Yes,
also.
yes,
Because,
absolutely.
you know, I was lucky enough on Saturday, I got to see Natasha perform at Neutral in Karachi
Yeah.
here in the club.
In the club.
In the club. It was such a fun night. And you did perform, which I would have started, you know, chanting Rain Rage
Yes.
if you didn't sing.
I
was
know.
Like, sing more. But you were up there with a DJ,
Yeah.
Musaki?
Mosiki
Machine.
Yes.
Seeing the way that audience, which the ages sort of span, but I would say majority seem to be like 20s, maybe early 30s, seeing their response to that, I was like, who would have thunk it, honestly?
Yeah.
And I mean that in the best way, that like, damn right, that these DJs are also getting, and this all came, you're right, from like that same thing, that it was like, hey, we're collaborating with these singers. And there's a time, when would you have, as you said, what was it, Lalu Panju concert?
Panju, indeed.
Lalu Panju concert, where would you have seen that?
Yeah,
You know?
it's true. And I think it's just like the openness and the kind of like getting over ourselves that was necessary is how I would phrase it. And I think we're just like, I think the audience is open. I think we're far more open. And I think that we now actually have that room to experiment with how we explore like sites of music and what kind of music are we making for what space. Are we making bedroom pop for you know home music? Are we making it for the clubs? Are we making it for like anything in that way? So it makes a huge
But
difference.
there's so many more genres to kind of
Yeah.
explore, which is
Yeah.
fun for you guys, I'm assuming, because I mean, fun for us to play and for you guys to really experiment and speak to a very different kind of audience every single time, which is really
sure.
cool.
For sure.
You know what's also kind of cool is like, it never feels like a costume.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes in the West, right, like suddenly you have, I mean, I'm just saying it, please don't come for me, but like suddenly, you know, Taylor Swift's with Kendrick or something like that, and it might seem kind of random.
Yeah.
Versus here, if you're gonna go from a Punjabi song to an Urdu song to a cover to a pop hit, like
Yeah.
you know, Choro is a pop song for sure. Faltu Pyar is pop,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you go into Loverboy Romance. Like I think it's. And it fits because we have that ability to sort of
Maneuver,
we have
to
to
kind
be a
of-
chameleon and
yeah,
move and
yeah,
bend.
yeah.
And, I don't know. It's just really exciting. I feel like it's
Yeah.
a really exciting time to be.
It is.
It
in music
really
For
and
the
a
is.
first
fan of
time in a long
music.
time, it really is like.
Yeah.
So I would be like optimistic about the industry. I think everyone's kind of like bringing their own flavor to it. I think there's finally multiple genres. You know,
Of music.
like yeah, I think that there was like stagnation for a really long time, and I think that now we're just connected and like the pace that we're like frequency is really important also about how quickly we're releasing music, how quickly we're writing music, and how you know kind of like in the moment that is, because if we're taking 3 years to make, write, produce a single song, we've lost that moment, right? And the world has already moved on, and I
Right.
feel like that's also what put us on a global map recently, is that like a lot of these artists, I think the biggest thing is like if I think of Abdul Hanan, if I think of Anurul Khalid, if I think of you know any of these artists, Young Stunners, they're on tour everywhere, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Awesome Azhar.
Some Azhar is like massive.
Azhar's-
And so like I think the really amazing thing is that this is the first time where that dream of you know an actual global kind of
It's happened.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say it's happening. It happened a
happened.
long
It's
time
happened.
ago.
Yes, and it's now
I
it's
mean,
just
you had your
normal.
first Pakistani win a Grammy.
Yes,
you
yes,
had,
yes.
you know, you have Ali Sethi collaborating with the whole world.
and also
Yeah.
Coachella,
Literally.
dude, like
And
huge.
Coachella.
Yeah.
And these things, like, for us, it was always like,
Impossible.
you know, when is Natasha going to win a Grammy?
Yeah, even I still laugh at that because it's so ingrained in us that
but
it's so impossible.
It
you know
is
what I mean?
But, you
possible.
know,
Now it is. Now it feels like it could
I
happen.
met Anusha Ashraf the other day.
Yeah.
Dawn teamed up, but she was talking about how she had hosted a concert in Riyadh.
Yeah,
For young
yeah.
stunners.
Yeah.
She goes, I would say 70% of that audience was
Yeah.
Indians.
Yes.
People who had flown
Yes.
there to see them. And so you're right, it's happened.
Yeah.
Hassan Rahim selling out in Bangladesh.
Yeah.
Doing a
Right.
US tour.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's everything has kind of come full
Yeah.
circle, and it is. I completely agree with you. It's a very exciting time,
Yeah.
and I'm really glad that I am this close to it.
Yeah.
Honestly,
And
I'm
not.
not. Yeah.
Like,
when I-
we're in it.
we're
Yeah,
in
we're
it.
in
It's
it.
really, really
Again,
fun.
like I really do think that the one thing I hope more people that are watching who are obsessed with music like
Yeah.
you guys are, that who are a part of the actual industry, realize that simply and purely musicians cannot run an industry, and nor do they make an industry. It is the infrastructure and the people around it that really, 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 really serves the purpose, because there's so many amazing artists with amazing music who are just, you can't see them, you can't hear them, they are not able to be perceived because they just don't have the infrastructure, because they're not being played on radio, but because they're not, you know, kind of being acknowledged in different spaces and getting that due. So the more people that come into the scene,
right,
that is essential, especially more girlies in every department and every manner. Like, it really helps, man. Like, even when you think about a music video, that requires fashion, that requires choreo, that requires art, that requires lighting, that requires like video direction, that requires production management and like producers, and this is just like, you know, the top 7 people you kind of need for one project. And so when you're doing most of this, there's so many pockets to kind of slide into, because I think we always kind of take the back end for granted. And because I spend so much time in the back end, I think for me, I prioritize that so much, and I really respect people who are doing behind the scenes, because it's like we are nothing without them. And also, like, I still identify as a, you know, producer girly. You know what I mean? I still think that is my most important job in everything that I do. And so, like, every time someone's like, oh, we want to get into the creative industry, but no, I was like, but this is it. You have ways in, and actually you can earn stable incomes this way more than the musicians can, honestly.
Hey, I have given jobs to so many different people.
Including
I'm to right here. And genuinely, like, we are very open here. We constantly want young people to keep coming in into this profession, into the production side, into the behind the scenes side, and also radio side, because no matter what you think, yes, there's digital, there's streaming, there's so many options now. But at the end of the day, the kind of, like, radio is big. Like, musicians still come. Like, musicians still hold it very dear to them. Like, every time Sabah plays you, it's just
as exciting as the first time anyone plays
exactly.
on radio. It's huge.
So, if you're listening, send me your stuff. Let's do it.
Honestly, send music.
Yeah. There's 3 of us here. Send it to any one of us.
And don't ask permission. Can I send it to you? Send an email that's nice. Don't be rude. Don't be like, hey, play this. But I'm saying, also, I was going to say, like, you know, we've talked about it a bit. About how genres and stuff are bending. And you had said earlier, like, don't just make something because you think this is what it is. I think it can feel intimidating when you see what is the most popular music right now. But, oh, what if that's not my sound? Don't listen to that.
Agreed.
There is space for literally everything, I think. And I tell a lot of musicians this. I'm like, you don't have to be Natasha Rani or Asani or Shaikh or Andra
So many
Khalid.
people want me to rap, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, it's just... I love rap. I just also know...
But you are good at it too. You can do it. It's just...
I don't think so. That's one thing. But also, like, it's not where I'm at right now. And also, just because, there's a need for a female rapper, it's not me. There are much better female rappers.
Absolutely.
I don't need to be the sole person to be these things. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of people get caught up in that, if this is working, then I should be in this. Like, I'm happy singing the hook on a rap song. That's been my dream since I was a kid. I finally lived that this year. You know what I mean?
My dream is to be the video vixen.
Video vixen, exactly. We'll make that happen. It'll work out.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Please do cast me.
I'll produce it.
Yeah. There you go.
I'll produce you guys.
There you go. We got the whole team together.
Literally.
But I
think
it's
never been more ready.
Super important to, like, know that you can do whatever you want. Like, again, all of these things have been so out of the box. All of the things I've done haven't necessarily been pop until they've been pop. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't designed to be pop. It just kind of happened. I just liked those songs and it worked. And, like, I'm making house music, I'm making R&B, I'm making, like, you know, sad, you know, nylon guitar bangers.
I think, like,
my favorite
your
kind.
albums have been great examples of that song after song, the genre switches up.
Yeah.
The style switches up, the message kind of switches up. I would say the same thing even about Omer's album.
Yeah,
it's,
100%.
I feel like, but it's
happening.
all of them. Even Talal's album.
Yeah.
You see Manu's albums.
There's
Manu's also
range.
really switched
He's got
genres.
like 6 different genres
Yeah.
within him right
But
now.
One
I
second I'm crying, the next
Yeah.
second I'm dancing.
But
You know
I think
what
Exactly.
I think that's what it is. Like, it's just, I think that's what this episode is about. That you can be your creative self and you can be as experimental as you want, because everyone goes through different phases in their lives anyways, and it's a reflection. Your art is a reflection of whatever phase in your life you're going through, because you feed off of that. So
I love us. We should all be wearing graduation caps. That's how it
I
feels.
swear.
No, but even when Natasha said earlier that like that pass-fail binary, oh my God, if you can just abandon that.
Yeah.
Abandon that thinking, your life will change. And I say this to someone who has not abandoned that thinking. That's a rough
It's
day.
a daily choice, though.
Yeah.
I feel like there's not going to be a day where you like completely abandon it. If you have, then you have zero self-awareness, and that's another problem. But I think it's a daily choice to be made, whether you are like working on the pass-fail spectrum.
Sorry, I'm laughing because I saw this tweet that was like, I have full self-awareness. I'm just choosing to be a terrible person.
There
like,
you
don't
go.
worry. I'm self-aware.
There
I
you
just
go.
don't care how you feel about it. All right. We are cutting to the end of our show today.
This is, I'm just going to say, this has been one of my favorite days.
Thank you.
Because I got to do not one, but two podcasts with you. I've eaten your brain all day.
I love
And thank you so much for taking out all of this time for us.
My pleasure.
And for being here, and the one of many.
Yes, one of many.
And you did
inshallah.
just drop a new song.
I
Yeah?
dropped a new
Three.
EP.
Yeah, EP.
Three new
We
songs.
should mention it. Go,
Club
go.
Sandwich. Go listen to Club,
Club
Sandwich.
Sandwich.
On City
Love
FM
the
89,
artwork.
but also on the internet.
Yeah.
Love the concept art. Love the everything about it.
Thank you.
So very you.
It
The
is.
minute I saw that club sandwich, I was like, oh,
At her event, they had club sandwiches stacked up. I did eat it, delicious. And she was at a thing that was like serving.
Like a coca.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
literal coca.
So it's called Club Sandwich.
It's called Club Sandwich.
Streaming now on Spotify.
Everywhere.
And
89.
Guys, City FM. 89.
City FM. Say it again.
City FM 89.
Hey, and you can actually. I think let's put a clip of this on my radio show on Saturday, and then can we do that? We
Yeah.
do a little cross promotion. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Million
having me,
times.
guys.
Honestly, having a friend on is amazing. And
I'm telling you, best day.
And honestly, getting you to do what we want has been a fantastic
I love
bonus.
it. I'm glad I passed this
Yeah.
one in this pass fail
Good.
game.
I hope you had fun.
And thank you for picking us as your podcast of choice.
I love it. Always.
Yeah.
Always.
We'll probably have her back. I gotta be honest. We do usually threaten our guests with like, "We'll have you back," right? But like, we know she'll be back. So and yeah, we'll be talking about it then.
All right.
Perfect.
All
Thank
right,
you guys so
bye.
much. This
Okay.
was fun.
We talked about it. Bye.
Sorry. पानी मिल सकता है?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
पानी?
Fun.
Oh, yeah, we'll get Bonnie.
Fridge में नहीं है? Okay.
Listen, do not break the fourth wall.
No,
There
no.
is no
No, we break it all the time.
Break it all the
Literally,
time.
we always talk to them. There used to be a kitchen in here.
Yeah,
'Cause we would cook, much like you do in
No
the
worries,
studio.
no worries. And so, where were we? I want to cut it right. What were you talking about?
got distracted by my dancing.
We're gonna just power through.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna power through.
You went.
That's where I was.
Honestly, it's your fault. I would say.
I know,
No,
100%.
no. We were talking about. I'm trying to
Oh, we were talking
remember
about
also.
feedback.
Yes.
Feedback.
Mostly
yes,
good.
yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So I think. yeah.
Because Choro.
Thank you. बहुत शुक्रिया. Sorry. Thank you.
I'm okay. I have my spit.
Yeah. For a second, I didn't hear it. It just clocked me too. I have my spit.
I love it. Sorry, I'm just gonna chug a chug.
Take your time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is.
Chilling.
You know, it'd be hilarious if we kept it all in though. Just silently.
You never know.
You never know.
Neha's like,
This is the cut.
this we gotta keep this in.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Yeah.
For God's sakes, we just talked about how people on the internet are really mean.
Yeah. And also, she said spit. I don't know. That to me is the most vulgar word I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Could have been
Done,
worse.
done.
No,
I
please
accept
don't.
that.
For
Okay.
God's
Let's
sakes.
cut in. What I was gonna say is, yes, we've all seen Choro.
No. Start over.
Yeah.
Start
Alright,
over.
Sorry.